Hello everyone, Matthew Watkins back again with another video, and this one is kind of on a bit of a somber note. I know I'm a bit late to the party on this, but I've been celebrating my 22nd birthday and I've been out, and I was going to do this yesterday, but I was in too good a mood after the derby. But I feel like I've got to make a video on this. I don't know if you had the news on Tuesday, it was Wednesday, well it was sometime this week, I think it was Wednesday. The AAF filed for bankruptcy, effectively it being folded. Now I know I'm late to the party, the AAF is officially over, the Alliance of American Football, but I wanted to wait until it was officially over because I felt it was pointless making all this tribute video to it only for the league to come back stronger. Even though we knew it was on life support and we knew we really weren't going to make it, let's be real here. So I ain't going to go too much into the financial side, but it sounds like there was a bit of trouble with money. It just shows how you think, oh well, it shows how tough it is for leagues that in the NFL have trouble staying afloat when they do it on such a grander scale. And you think the writing's on the wall for the XFL, but Vince McMahon's going to make sure that does not happen. I know that for a fact. He sold WWE stock to make sure that doesn't happen. But I've just read on CBSSports.com an interview with Charlie Ebersole about this. He said the money was fine, it was just there was a lot of trouble, so they needed a insurance policy, and they got that in Tom Dundon, the owner of the Carolina Hurricanes ice hockey team. Boy, was that a bad decision. It became apparent that Dundon was not here for the long term like everyone else. With Ebersole and Paulie and all them, you know, they expected it all to come into place, at least take 3 years, to it probably becoming an official developmental league for the NFL. Dundon, on the other hand, wanted it all to come into place in 3 weeks. He threatened to close the league after they couldn't get a deal with the NFLPA. It became apparent he didn't really know football because, well, there's a lot of red tape in getting a developmental league because it's the current collective bargaining agreement, which expires in 2020, by the way. And then once the league officially suspended operations 8 out of 10 weeks into their regular seasons. They only played 8 weeks of the regular season. Then he suspended all the operations. And this is where it was quite ugly. And I'm absolutely appalled at the way Tom Dundon handled this. You know, obviously this was against the wishes of Bill Paulie and Charlie Ebersole, who was there for the long term and weren't expecting it all to come into place. But sadly, they gave the wrong person power. And Ebersole said in his interview, it became apparent that the way Tom Dundon wanted to do things was different than what Ebersole and Paulie and everyone else in charge, well, originally wanted for the league. And supposedly, off the field, it was becoming a laughing stock. It was becoming a sinking ship. While on the field, it was doing some good football. Not every match was a 5-star classic, but not every match is a 5-star classic in the NFL. It was just nice to wake up the morning after the Super Bowl and think football ain't exactly over yet. Even though they gave us 8 weeks of the 12. I'm glad they gave us 8 weeks. And I know next year we're going to be having this with the XFL. We know we're definitely going to be having this. Well, hopefully we're not going to have this disaster that it's become. You know, Vince McMahon, he will have the financial, the financial backing. He will have the money, hopefully, to do it. And he definitely will have the passion for the league. I can guarantee you that. As much as I felt really devastated the league's fallen, and you think, well, the writing's on the wall for the XFL. If the AAF couldn't get it right, well, what shot does the XFL have? Well, the thing is, the XFL revival coming next year is going to be different than that XFL that happened with Vince McMahon and Dick Ebersole, Charlie's dad. Yes, Dick Ebersole, former head of NBC Sports. You know, that was more of a football pro wrestling hybrid. This XFL, it's got Oliver Luckett's the commissioner, so it's got a definite chance to succeed. And he knows that having it a crossover with wrestling will not work. But I knew one thing for a fact. I watched an XFL game. This one I was kind of more in the middle between wrestling and the legit sport area. I was actually more towards the legit sport, and I instantly knew why it failed. Was because it was just hard to take the league seriously. I know that's not going to happen with the XFL. The fact that they all have to make their own way home of hotels, they all got kicked out their hotels, they all have to pay for their own way home, and those who thought they could have their injuries covered didn't have that covered anymore. You know, it was absolutely disgraceful management, and that's the thing, Dundon was probably chilling on a golf course somewhere while all this was going on, while people were suffering because of him. And I hope Ebersole and Paulie, you know what I would have been like if I was Ebersole and Paulie, I'm thinking, why the hell did we let this guy into the league? Obviously, he gave us that financial backing, but we realised we've put the wrong person in charge here, and that's definitely what's happened. Again, I can't really speak so much on the financial side because I feel it's kind of complicated. Like Ebersol said, it was all in place. It was some technical problems. I aren't going to call him out as being a liar. I'm not going to say he's being truthful. I'm not going there. I will say anyone who's all like, he rushed into it, that's why it flopped, because he rushed into it. Take into account the USFL, for example, which is probably the best spring league there's ever been, because it lasted 3 years, but then it got ruined by Donald Trump wanting to move to the fall to compete with the NFL, and this was in the 80s. Go look it up. That was announced roughly about a year before the inaugural season kicked off. Take that into account. They had been laying the groundwork for 15 years. They weren't doing that for the Alliance, obviously, but it took it about 2.5 years. Ebersol and Polian, apparently not long after this was the XFL 30 for 30 documentary was released. Ebersol had the idea. He met with Polian for 5 hours, supposedly, or 7 hours, or whatever it was, in a diner over pancakes, where they had the blueprint of the league. But sadly, it's just sad to say that it's ended in this sorry note. Not really much else to say, I think. I know I've been rambling, but again, there isn't really much to say otherwise. It's just such a shame. But no matter what, the league's lasting legacy, despite it being an absolute laughingstock, it went from being a credible league to a laughingstock in one fell swoop, will be what the NFL chooses to adopt and how many of those players go on to do well in the NFL. I mean, the original XFL was a laughingstock, but Tommy Maddox and He Hate Me Rod Smart and Yo Murphy, they've all played in Super Bowls. They all play in the XFL. And don't forget, we have Skycam and players being mic'd up. That's all commonplace now in the NFL. Skycams all over football, you know. So that's what's going to be the league's lasting legacy, is what if the XFL was a laughingstock, and it was a laughingstock, how the could you take this league seriously? I honestly hope we don't have this problem next year with the rebooted XFL. We probably won't. I don't think we will at all. I honestly hope we don't, and I bet a lot of us don't as well. And I hope at least there's a league here for the future, and this will hopefully be a serious spring league, which is what we need. The thing is, Vince McMahon, if he stays true to his word that he's going to stay in the background and let the experts handle it, I think the league will have the potential to succeed. It's already got some standards to live up to with the AAF. That's it. I apologise if it's been a lot of rambling, but again, it wasn't really much of a script. It was just me saying my thoughts about the Alliance. I feel really bad for you if you were a player of the Alliance and put yourself in a bit of a hellhole here. Tom Dundon, didn't he? I hope you make it out okay, and I hope you have a good career in the NFL or the CFL. You know, I hope it all works out for you guys. Don't forget to like this video if you enjoyed it. Comment below what you think about the Alliance of American Football. If you think I'm full of let me know by clicking a dislike. And don't forget to subscribe if you want some more. Turn on those notifications so you know whenever I post next. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter at Hawkins_MattUS. Don't forget to tell your friends how much of a great YouTuber I am. And don't forget, if you need some cheer, have no fear. Big Matt Hawk is here.